Rohan's Corner, that show's awesome, awesome, it's so awesome, oh so awesome, awesome, awesome. Doesn't Rohan's Corner collect GoBots? That would be really late. One of the many robot franchises on his show. He treats them all the same. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. He's got a wall of fame. Awesome. Thank you, my friends. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Corner of Rohan. And this week, as I mentioned last week, we're talking about the sequel to Beast Wars, Beast Machines. Spoiler alert, it's only been 24 years since Beast Machines graced our screens in 1999/2000. So if you haven't seen the series yet, if you haven't seen it yet, why haven't you seen it yet? It's a good series, first and foremost. I know it gets a lot of stick. I know it was a bit contentious back in the day with the whole design aesthetic and what it stood for. But if you haven't seen it yet, I'm not even going to apologize for spoilers. There are heavy spoilers in this little video I've done for you this week. Go and check it out. It's a great series. If you don't want to hear the spoilers, mute Rohan for 5 minutes and come back to the show. Anywho, Beast Machines, what's it all about? Well, Beast Machines is the sequel to Beast Wars, and Beast Wars ran for 3 years between 1996 and 1999, culminating in the end of the Beast Wars when Megatron was captured, the Maximals had defeated the Predacons and were embarking upon returning him as a criminal back to Cybertron. We don't really know what happened between the end of Beast Wars and the beginning of Beast Machines. All we know is that at the beginning of Beast Machines, that was not the status quo. We see Optimus Primal and Rattrap, Cheetor, and Black Arachnia in the first episode are absolutely dumbfounded by the lack of Cybertronians on Cybertron and, are hunted down by the Vehicons. So, I'm not going to give you a background story. You can go and check out things like the basics on the Beast era for that. But let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of Beast Machines. And let's start with the very first point. The theme tune for Beast Machines by Fat Planet. Boy, how to set the tone for this show. It's awesome. It's probably one of the best theme songs for Transformers ever created. I suppose it's not really a theme song created for Transformers. It is a music in itself. And there are no lyrics to this. It is just a theme which plays in the back of your head over and over again. I can hear it now. Ask Paul to play at the end of the show because it's awesome. So yes, the theme song was brilliant. Another good thing about Beast Machines is totally based on Cybertron. There are not many series, in fact there are no other series which are totally based on Cybertron. You could argue that series like Energon maybe was totally based on Cybertron. It's not really, because people moved about from planet to planet a little bit. I suppose Energon did a little bit, but then you had Unicron come along and all this sort of rubbish. So, yeah, Beast Machines, totally based on Cybertron. Really great thing. The first Transformers series ever to do that. And as a result of being totally based on Cybertron, you get the added benefit. There are no freaking humans in this series. It's great. It is machine on machine. Well, yes. That brings us to our first negative comment, I suppose. While there are no humans, it is unfortunate that the whole premise of Beast Machines is the combination of the beast and the technological into one illogical, weird, aesthetically unpleasing dynamic with some rubbish mantra about. It just makes me feel sick. About bringing together the beast and the robot. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Let's stay on the positive, shall we? No humans. Another really good positive is Megatron's character. Megatron the Tyrant we saw in Beast Wars was brilliant, and he goes even further in Beast Machines. If you haven't seen it, just check it out. It is his way or the highway. If you don't play ball, he will extract your spark and turn you into a husk. And it's awesome. And he has a mantra that he wants to convert all of Cybertron back into the mechanical, but in his image. And it's kind of cool, except it's a bit ironic and contradictory because it turns out that he's actually still in his beast mode, and so he's stuck there and he's trying to get out of it. But yeah, it's still pretty damn excellent. Another brilliant thing about Beast Machines is the Veercons. We've seen recently by Chris McFeely, the latest episode on Veercons was done at TFUKCon, and it was the first time that we ever saw these drones being used in Transformers as a huge thing. And they are a huge thing. We've got 3 types of drones. We've got the tank drones, we've got the air drones, the cycle drones, and later on in the series we have 2 more. And one of the best things about the drones is, 1, they are all vehicles, 2, they are all robots, 3, they are menacing and have brilliant characteristics. And then later on in the series we get some brilliant generals for them, and they are great characters. They are loony. They have massive personalities. And, if you haven't seen these characters, specifically Tankor and Jetstorm, they are 2 of my favorites. Obviously, we have Thrust, who is one of the first G1 rename uses that we've had for a while. Turns out to be Waspinator, which is brilliant. And we see how he goes from being the weedy kind of funny character to being this cool, collected kind of cycle drone who then actually becomes back into the Waspinator character. It's really funny. The other 2 drone generals, Tankor, who actually turns out to be Rhinox, massive shock, turns out to be an evil version of Rhinox, who actually I really loved. I thought his character was brilliant, and the fact that he plans and plots against Megatron and wants to take over Cybertron and rebuild it as it should have been. I totally agree with Tankor. I wish Tankor had won Beast Machines. That would have been the best result for me, but unfortunately it doesn't be the case. And then Jetstorm, who turns out to be Silverbolt, which then plays into the whole Maximal arc story, which is, it's okay.
3 mindless drones.
Only 3 things wrong with that little theory. 1, we're not drones. 2, we're not mindless. And 3, problem's my middle name. Jetstorm, Afterbirth,
Thrust, Overdrive, Tankor, Pulverize.
But when you're watching it for the first time and you don't realize that these characters are previous characters from Beast Wars, it's a shock, and it's really cool at the same time that they enlarge that into the script. Otherwise, it could have been anyone. In the second season of Beast Machines, the generals have been distorted somewhat because Jetstorm becomes Silverbolt and Tankor becomes Rhinox and unfortunately doesn't continue, and so you're stuck with Thrust. So Megatron makes the decision to bring on 2 more generals, but instead of using Beast Wars sparks, this time they introduce 2 generals from G1 history. They're actually new characters at the time. Obsidian and Striker, war veterans of the Autobots, who he utilizes to be loyal to Cybertron and do his bidding. And they're great characters. I've said it in the past, they should have been used in the Bumblebee movie instead of whatever their names are, Shatter and whatever, because that would have made more sense. But they are brilliant characters. They have real adaptation for war, and they are more than a match than the original General Veercons, even though the Maximals still get the best of them, of course.
On the contrary, I was configured to defend Cybertron, and such has always been my mission.
Always? Who are you?
I am, as I have always been, Obsidian. And you remember my consort,
Striker.
Oh man, we've been duking it out with the greatest generals in Cybertronian history.
Alright guys, that's the end of part 1 of my Beast Machines overview, the good, the bad and the ugly. I just have far too much content to share with you to cram it all into 1 week. And at the same time, I've got some exciting news to share with you. There is a new store that's opened up in the southeast of England. If you're local to the Halstead area near Colchester, then you may have heard of Retroformers, which has been started by Jonathan Farrington. And I was approached this week by a friend of his, Christian Horth, about a open day. Come trade and play your Transformers there on Sunday. This Sunday between 10 and 6 p.m. they will be holding a trade and play kind of day for all of your Transformers needs. There will be a raffle where you'll have the opportunity to win Zeta Superion, and there will also be a competition for designing new figures and new artwork. At the same time, there is a celebrity on the way in the midst, and it is a friend of the show. Ben's Collectibles will be there recording a new video, potentially an unboxing. And if all of this goes well, then hey, there's even the opportunity for more franchise type days like this, the likes of Star Wars and Pokemon and Warhammer, which will make Paul very happy. So if you're free, if you're local, go check it out. On that bombshell, thank you for joining me for another week here on Rohan's Corner, and I hope to see you again next week.
Transformers, Rohan's in disguise.